I'm really good at that. It's hard to do that. Marina Franklin makes you do that in unison. If you
Oh yeah,
and
I've done it before.
It always sounds horrible. I'm
It
like, you
does.
really? That was right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I'm back from and why my breakfast was so good. I have always been talking about menopause and suffering through hot flashes, blah, blah, blah. I won't bore you right now. But the hot flashes have kind of dissipated. I feel a little less. And what it was making me do is really not give a shit about anything.
Really?
Depression, but in not in a not wanting to be a part of life, not wanting to dress up. And I feel cute again.
Yeah.
I've been feeling cute again. That makes you get up early.
Have a good breakfast.
I've been waking up and eating food instead of waking up. I like this too.
Yeah.
Waking up and fucking half the morning, but I realize that's taking up most of the day.
Have you seen the video of the lady at like the football game? I think she's bald, and like her head is steaming.
I don't know why I didn't repost that.
That was sick. I was stuck on that video for a minute. I'm like, I had no idea it would ever get that bad.
And that medically explains what a hot flash is and why it has been hard for me to wear my natural hair out and not wear braids all the time. Imagine you get your hair straightened and then all that steam rises up from your scalp. So all that's doing is moisture on freshly straightened hair. It curls your hair right back up.
And I also understood. I was like, oh, her being bald is the absolutely best decision for her because if she had like a head of hair on her, now she's like, what, 50 degrees hotter? Like
I'm just saying,
like a dog in the desert.
I didn't know so much heat came out of your head. That video taught me why my hair has been in braids all the time. Cause I'm like, I've been wasting all this money.
Yeah.
And my head to be like, bitch, we're gonna go back in about 30 minutes.
But it's obviously cold enough. So imagine how good she must have felt being cold out there.
I know. And she was out there chilling, eating a hot dog.
She was so unaffected. Yeah.
She was like, this is what it is.
Rooting for her nephew. Like, yeah.
Y'all want to take a video? I could care less. Hey guys. That was another prelude. What's that, opener? What's it called? Cold open.
I love that.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm Jackie Fabulous. This is Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. I am back with episode number, I don't want to say 2 because I ain't put out 1 yet because the file won't download long, so I have help. But, I'm getting back into it. I have a guest, and I'm going to tell you why he's here number 1. I like you.
Aww.
And he always tells me when he sees me, Jackie, I like you.
Yeah.
And then we're gone. We're poof into the night.
Yeah. You disappear.
We disappear. But when I first started seeing him around, he looked like a boy. I'm not gonna lie. He looked like a young lost boy who wandered into a comedy club, and all of a sudden he on the stage. You're like, how that Uber Eats delivery dude get on stage? And then
that's truly how I felt too. That's truly how I probably felt. That's crazy.
Because you were shy and it was new.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I also want to give him a different kind of respect because I didn't know all this shit when I looked him up in the Uber on the way here. Okay? Because I thought he just happened to get a job at SNL as a writer. He submitted some funny shit. Somebody knew him. He had representation, proper way. But also, young dude got a chance, whatever. Young people, fuck y'all, right? But then I read his resume, and I'm like, this nigga is a for real writer. I thought he was a comedian. No, you carry yourself like a comedian. No, like a writer who happened. No, sorry, like a comedian performer.
Oh, thank God, comedian came first.
Like a comedian performer who happens to be a writer.
Yes.
But in essence, on paper, he is a highly accomplished television and movie writer. Television and what? Film writer.
I haven't written a film yet.
It don't matter.
Not yet.
But
not
most
yet.
of the shit that we've watched, a few of which I've been on, thank God, he's been a writer on. Also, more respect, SNL writer, former SNL writer. Another prop before I give out his name and stuff. I didn't know that you wrote that sketch that went crazy viral.
I did.
Pronounce her name properly for me, Shashir.
Lisa.
Lisa.
No, Ego.
Ego.
The character's name is Lisa.
Shashir.
Yeah, Ego.
Ego and the shaking the table. And I'm like, he wrote that? And he got the idea from his family. So, okay, I'm going on forever with his resume. Please give it up for the debonair, one of the best dressed comics / writers ever, Mr. Alex English.
Jackie.
What?
I wasn't ready for that. We did the whole little prelude, and I thought we was just gonna get into some things, but then you do that. Like I've never heard. That's the best intro anybody's. I'm gonna play that for my mama when this airs.
Low key, I'm good at this, and if I like you, I'm extra good at it. Like blowjobs. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's also why we're here.
Okay.
We share love of the game.
Oh my God, somebody who understands. My first guest understands too.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, so
thank you for that lovely intro.
I didn't know your resume was so thick.
It takes someone saying it out loud to you, or on it. Like it takes someone saying that to actually you walk around. This is so cliche, but you understand. I think you walk around thinking, oh, I don't do anything. I don't really have a whole lot.
It was so hard to get what you've got. that you're still in the. We're always in the accomplishment stage.
Yeah.
That we don't have to sit back and be like, I actually should be a little bit impressed with myself.
Yeah, exactly. So, but unfortunately, it does. Unfortunately and fortunately, it takes others, especially someone like you that I do respect. It's mutual. You already know.
Thank you.
Like, to hear that list go on and go on, and I'm like, oh wow, I guess I did some of those things. I forgot. I was too busy not enjoying it and stressing out about it.
I've done podcasts and they run down my. I'm like I'm impressed.
Who is this bad bitch?
Who is this bitch? She sounds busy because most of the time I'm just either sleepy or stressed out or looking for money or looking for a gig. They don't realize that you've done plenty, but that's the entertainment business. You're always on to the next.
You're always on to the next.
So your most recent gig, you're on hiatus permanently. It's a very sexy way of saying.
That's the sexiest way I've heard.
And when I read the little article blip, all you said was, "I've been relieved of my duties." Holla at your boy if you got a booking. I love that.
You know what's so crazy though? Like, I purely was just doing that. I just said it when when I found out. I was putting it out there for the fact of like, I am available to do stand up again.
There was no animosity in it.
No,
there was
nothing.
But this is a fact.
Yeah.
Now holla. That's it.
Now holla. Yeah.
That was all.
Because now I'm open. Now I'm free. Yeah. So yeah.
How long were you there for?
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Which I think was good. Like it was 3 more than I thought I would be doing. Let me tell you that.
I remember when you got the job. You still kind of wandered around in a stunned state.
I truly, like, Jackie, when I tell you, like, when I first started stand up, I didn't even know. I knew nothing about the entertainment business. I didn't even know about being a television writer. I didn't know that some of my favorite comedians were also television writers.
Oh my God.
I didn't have any idea.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 35.
Yeah, nigga, you grown.
I'm grown.
Yeah. I thought you were like 28.
Well, keep saying that. Keep like, look, I'm getting into some acting now, Jackie. So put it out there. Yeah,
you grown.
It's not.
You almost should have a hip that hurts. You're almost there.
Let's just say, when I get out of bed, it be different sometimes.
And that's a wonderful thing. You look so young. Okay, so go ahead. You were saying about the job.
I've everything that I've ever gotten since starting in 2012 was a surprise to me because I'm just like, I went into stand up purely just being like, I'm gonna be a stand up.
Yeah.
So if you would have told me I was doing SNL in like 10 or so years, I would have been like, well, I don't talk to liars, so this conversation's over. There's no way. I just never had those ideas. So every year, because when I first started doing stand up, I was like, all right, I kept it real with myself. I was like, all right, I did my first couple of open mics. I was getting like decent feedback, and I'm like, all right, if I don't see progress every year in some way, even if it's just in my performances, I'm gonna have to figure out a different career for myself.
Yeah. How long did you give yourself? Did you have a time limit?
By the time I got my first writing job, I was like, oh, okay, there might be something else here. Or even like when I got my first opportunity to do stand up, like a bigger show in New York, like a Hannibal, like a Knitting Factory, or like Wyatt Cenac did Night Train over in Littlefield. I looked at those shows as like, oh, I gotta get good enough to do that, because at that point I was just like doing mics for other comics and doing like little small or like bringer shows. I was a bringer comic for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
So what made you? So why were you ever involved in writing on TV? Why did you apply?
I got a manager and I got I didn't have an agent at this point yet, but I had a manager who saw me after I did the taping for Wyatt Cenac and his show, and I got my manager from stand up, and then
in New York,
and then suddenly it was like, oh, do you want to write on this new TV show? And I was like, this new late night show. I was like, right, I'm all right, and I wrote it, I did the packet and got it, and I'm like, now I'm like working in the business, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never been in a writing room before. I've only heard about writing rooms at this point, and so. The writing part is, I as much as like I have appreciated all of my writing credits. Yeah, I'm always having to remind those I'm working with that like I am a performer, and that'll never leave me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you're kind of inspiring me because I feel like I have been very lax in trying to get work outside of being on stage.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I look at you. I look at so many of y'all, like you and like Michelle Buteau and like, all like, especially like a lot of the ladies I looked at like on the New York scene when I first got here.
There's so many good ones.
But I'm like, y'all were working. I would see you posting like club dates and stuff. I'm like, damn, I want to be on the road like Jack. I want to be on the road like them. Like,
and I'm kind of envious of y'all who get a chance to take a break. Because you always, the grass ain't always greener. But it'll be a different experience. I want a different experience.
Yes.
And because I've been on the Tonight Show so often, I'm like, well, but why don't I try to get a writing job?
You got to teach me about the late night writing, like how to write that set out, because I'm figuring that out right now. I want to do late night so bad. I've never. You know how many times I've gotten I got introduced the other night to the seller. One of the hosts was like, "You've seen him on the Tonight Show." I'm like, "You certainly have not seen me on the Tonight Show."
That's a goal of yours. I'll help you.
I've been trying for
sure.
so long, but I'm like, I gotta find the clean way to say.
Okay, what's the feedback you've been getting primarily?
None yet, because I haven't sent anything.
Oh my God!
Let me tell. I got so mad. No,
you were acting too old to be like comics who approach me like, I want to do it, and I'm like, well, have you gone on stage? I mean, you gotta get on stage.
I did the version of it that I wrote out, and I was like, this is the best way to do this.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I had my phone set up to record it at this show. My phone flaked out on me.
How long ago was this?
Like a week ago.
Oh, okay, so you're still in pursuit of it.
I have it written down. I just have not yet. The moments that I have already killed, and it crushed.
Really?
The whole 5.5 minutes.
And you don't have it on tape though.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna get it.
Just do it again.
I'm gonna do it again.
I've learned let go of sets that you think you gotta have. Yeah, let go. Just do it again.
That's right. I went through some stages of grief with that tape. I'm like, oh, fuck.
I feel like, unfortunately and fortunately, like part of I'm kind of blocked. I'm trying to get on television for longer periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to if they need somebody to come to some show, morning or night, to do stand up between 5 and 8 minutes, I'm always gonna get a call.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've excelled. That's my expertise at this moment in my career. So I can for sure help you with that.
Thank you.
You know, and I admire all the writing experience you have. One of my things that I would love to do is write for an award show.
Really?
The monologue, because once again that's another short TV set, and you know I'm in the Writers Guild.
Yeah.
I've been in it for a minute, and I got in it because of a writing deal, a TV show deal.
Yeah.
That has not happened. It's still gonna happen, but I'm in the Writers Guild, so I want your help in helping me write something.
Well,
anything actually.
Here's a fun fact that I don't think I ever.
You ever read a movie script?
Well, I wrote a television pilot.
Okay.
And you're in it.
Ow! Who's available? Me.
I wrote because it took me my ever since I started writing, like on my first writing job and in between others, my management now have been like lovingly on my back for years about writing a script of my own. Like I told you, Jackie,
that's their job is to harass us until we write our own shit.
I do not know how to do any of these things. I didn't know how to write a script. I don't have any like formal training.
Ain't nobody got no formal training.
But that's where I at that time.
Okay.
So it had taken me like I want to say like 3 years to even put words on a page.
You're like me, I
much
know.
less try to figure out I took the Atlanta script, the pilot script for Atlanta, and I let that be like my rubric of how I was like, what the hell is EXT? I had to literally teach myself the same way I kind of had to teach myself how stand up works. How okay, if I just take what this and then put my own thoughts into this structure, then I can
final
do
draft.
It.
Easy.
So after about 2.5 years,
I've never done it, by the way, but easy
of figuring out, figuring out the mechanics of writing a script, how to write an actual final draft script, whatever. I'm like, oh, I wrote something that I can like write all the people that I know. Like Jackie will sound funny saying this. Marie will sound funny saying this. Devin, Gary, like I'm like, people spend time just trying to write characters. I'm like, oh, I know funny people.
Yeah.
So it made it all the more easier to write the script. And like SNL definitely like made me a faster writer, not just in stand up, not just in like on script on paper, but like in stand up too. Because it's like, okay, don't rewrite this unless you think it's better. Don't just go and perform it, go do it, and then we can edit it later.
How many sketches have you had of yours make it to air on SNL?
It's so hard to. Let me see. Okay, my first season I had one that didn't make it to the show, but it made it to dress rehearsal and they put it online. So that was like my first. That was my first like flex.
Okay.
So I only like my first season. That's usually good for your first season. It's like okay,
that's amazing for your first
just
season.
One. Yeah, my one and I'm out. Chris Rock told me that he was like, you'll get one.
Yeah.
And then you'll be good. I'm like, okay, great. Second season was like my biggest. Yeah, my biggest season. It was like that was the Lisa sketch. I did another one with Gary. I worked with Gary Richardson and Will Steven a lot. We did one. Remember when Southwest Airlines had that glitch in December, like over the holiday at the holiday season, and all of those flights were shut down. People were stuck in the airport. Not the one from earlier this year.
No, there was one where the luggage was like ridiculous.
Like a Christmas ago.
Yeah.
So we did an airport. We did like a commercial parody of them. And it was like we promise y'all we are upgrading our systems now. We are finally gonna get 2008 Dell computers. So yeah, it was like making fun of it. Michael B. Jordan was in that.
Nice.
Let me see, Lisa. Okay, yeah, Lisa. That was my second season. I did some other like I had my hands in like other people's things throughout like season. Like I was busy. Like I did a lot of like weekend update features with Punky and like Bowen and stuff like that.
You know what's sad is that the way I remember being like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. There were so many shows for you to jump around to when one show ended, and there's nothing now that I can think of.
It's the biggest game in town.
What do you mean, biggest as hardest gig to get? You mean?
Yeah.
Because years ago, I'm used to seeing one person leave, but the next thing you know, they're writing on some other sketch show or some other fab misdemeanors. What is it? Flatbush misdemeanors.
Yeah.
A show
which
like
really
that.
should still be on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin and Dan. I look at clips of that show. Even I was watching it when it aired, but Kevin and you were in that.
I was in. Yeah, I was in 2 episodes. I'm gonna tell you, so much fun.
It looked like fun.
Outside, and the actors that I should have had their names. See, I'm learning. But the guys who are the primary players on this show, their dialogue is just everything was just so funny.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be on it more, but
it should still be on the air.
Yeah,
That's
Kevin
one of the,
ISO, and
and I'm biased. Dan Perlman.
Yeah.
Dan Perlman. I came up in New York with them doing stand up, so I'm like, that was a win for like our like I call it like my class, like the people that I like remember from like when we first got started. And me and Dan definitely was in every open mic I could remember together. So
that's what's wonderful, and I have that more now. Meeting you guys now, but when coming from Los Angeles, when I see a lot of people who are on television now, I came up with it. Like,
did you start in LA?
Everything began in LA.
Okay.
And then moved back to New York, where I'm from, pre-pandemic.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. So my comedy career turned into whatever it is now, based on LA stages. And I remember everyone over there now working on, like Joe Rogan over there, Ali Wong working on that shit over there. Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
So that's the class that I'm a part of.
I didn't even consider that. Wow. Yeah.
Everybody has a class. And I was going to say the reason why, like, even though I'm thankful for all the touring, the podcast is because what I have watched with primarily male comics in LA, but mostly in New York during the pandemic. Mark Norman, Sam Morril, Joe List, and et cetera, Jared Freed. They all started a podcast who turned into blow-uptuated, and that helped their numbers, which I'm sure is the reason why they were able to get the Beacon Theater, other theaters around New York or whatever.
Mind you, those are guys that, again, like, you know,
hit the stages with nightly.
When I got to New York, those were guys that were running in and out of every room that I was just watching and hanging out in because I wasn't booked on it yet. I'm like, these guys are running this shit. It was them. It was Hannibal. It was Wyatt. It was the Lucas brothers. It was Che. But you know, before he got to SNL, I was like, who are these guys? You know what I mean? Like Kevin. Like I just was like, oh man, how do I get good like that? Yeah. So I could, because I would go to shows and like, you know, Hannibal would walk in and then it's like he wasn't even on the show, but suddenly he was on the show.
Of course,
and you know, I am here to say that I reached that point. I walk into some of these bar shows like, give me that damn mic.
Now I be like,
let me show y'all boys how to do it.
Every now and then you get part of a regular show and you be like, either you're like, ooh, I'm sad for the future.
It's a really
or
good
you see the talent that's out there.
Yeah, you go to a really like hot bar show in New York somewhere and you just walk in and like it's like, oh, Alex is here. Do you want to come? You want to go up? You're like, damn well I want to go up. There, come on.
We work hard so we can walk on.
I just want the respect of being, you know, I do this, you know. Y'all used to come to my shows, you know. So just come on and like run me a quick 10 minutes that I'll probably do 20.
Now, because what you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
You got the Laker game playing in the background.
Oh my God! Can I tell you a really funny story about when I first you mentioned Laker game? But, okay, so I was doing. It was probably like my second and a half year of doing stand up, and I was doing it at a room in Harlem. It was what is that restaurant called? Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name of it, but Smokey ran the room.
I was about to say, was it Smokey? One of Smokey's
It was like a Monday night. I'm forgetting.
Mocha Monday.
Mocha Monday.
I did it once.
I was gonna say Chocolat, but that's the restaurant, like not too far from it. Yes. I did it once and only once too. But I'm gonna tell you,
what?
It changed the trajectory of my stand up this day.
Word?
Because I was on stage, and it's not really a stage. You like in front of the bar, and they all sitting out there.
passing breakfast in front of you while you're talking.
Not listening to a single word. And there's a Knicks game playing, so half of the attention is like on the game, so they already mad because you know the Knicks is losing. So I'm up here talking gay joke, all these gay jokes, you know. And I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
But this guy, this black dude, he couldn't be none but like an inch away from me. He was like, "All right, dude, you gay. What else?" And I wrapped that setup, and I had to sit on the train back to Brooklyn, thinking about that man really tapped into like I was like, yeah, I guess I was talking about that for a really long time.
That's a wonderful thing.
And maybe I should open the right. I don't even know that man.
We're not all homophobic. We don't care.
What's up? You got any other thoughts?
Exactly.
I was like, maybe I should open up the paper and turn on the news and come up with an idea about the world.
Let me have a thought about something else besides my life. They were just tired of hearing you talk about you.
I was just going on and on and on. And I know it was probably some dog shit jokes. I know it was probably awful.
No,
like very clumsy comedy. That's what I call it. When you first start stand up, it's very because I hear it in newer comics.
Yeah.
Newer than me.
No
I've only
structure.
been in structure. It's just sort of awesome. It's very flimsy. No punch. Not half the time. Not even any punchline. Just trying to figure out how to talk on stage.
With
very
rooms
clumsy.
like that, when I did it once, and I remember. And rooms like that, just meaning it's extra urban, and which is what we all are part of.
Yeah.
But I do know from doing rooms like that, or people who come to my shows, they don't necessarily want to hear you do your well-rehearsed, constantly done, known off the top of your head material. They want to hear why you're here, which is your material, but they also want to know what else you got. So you got to interact with them. You got to make fun of them.
You got to yell at them a little bit.
Yell at them a little bit. Let them know, like, hey, I don't fucking live in D.C. I need y'all to wake the hell up and laugh with me and laugh at the jokes.
Yeah.
So, but they make me work. I'm not going to make me work harder. They make me realize, because sometimes some white audiences, especially I remember the Ice House in L.A., if you ever done it in Pasadena, you should do it. It's wonderful. But back in the day, you get on that stage there, and it'd be like, I would say hi. And they're like, oh, my God, she's so cute. I'm like, this is not stand-up. Y'all got to calm down.
I was at the Cellar, the Fat Black, like 2 nights ago, and I got on stage. And before I even let out a word, this dude, like, to the left was like, oh, this dude looks really funny. I'm like, and I heard him. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you think getting ready to happen up here. I'm glad you have this much faith in me, but
exactly.
What are you saying about my face?
Expectation. Sometimes when you look like you have confidence, they look at you like you.
I walked in there the other night with a whole suit on. I had a.
So they're in their mind like, this nigga better be funny.
I was at, but everybody sees you on the monitors in the other rooms, like around the corner in the McDougal. So I was coming from a 40th birthday party, a friend, and we were all dressed up. And I was like, damn, I got a
dress y'all.
I got a 1 o'clock spot. I got a 1 o'clock a.m. spot. I strolled into the Cellar. I knew it as soon as I got off stage. I checked my phone. Of course, Liz texted me, did you go to church? Did you go to fucking church before your spot or some shit? I was like, I knew it.
No, I love it. You know what I love a lot about the Cellar? I love shooting anything on television for any reason and getting beat the face and having a set at the Cellar afterwards.
Looking fine as shit.
Because first of all, like, nobody really saw this shit. Whatever I did ain't gonna air for God knows how long.
Right.
So let me go to the Cellar right now and have 3 or 4 sets looking like Diana Ross. That shit is fantastic. I love it. Yeah. Okay, you mentioned that you were gay. Are you dating anybody? You dating anybody? Not that gay means I should ask him, but it does. Yeah. Are you dating anybody? What's up?
I am.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
One-on-one for a long time?
It's been 9 months.
Damn.
You remember I brought him to the Cellar once or twice.
Really?
I think you
What
might
does
have
he
met
look
him.
like?
Like Brazilian.
I'm about to say. I remember. I'm like, he wasn't a black dude.
I can't put my finger on who would play him in a movie. I don't know.
I can tell that you are having a good relationship and you're content. There's something about your demeanor that is like this.
Yeah.
Something about you has exhaled.
I mean, I spent so long kind of.
I know. That's why I'm like, I can see the
relationships.
difference in your whole body language. You look like I am not searching for dick right now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an easy relationship. It's probably the easiest one I've had. Yeah, everything else kind of came with something, or it was nothing at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep.
But I mean, I had a very healthy. I've been in New York for 11 years now, and no. 12? Oh my God. 12. See, I'm getting old. I'm losing my mind. No, I've had a very healthy dating sexual experience in New York. Like coming from Detroit. I think like
There's so many cute guys here.
There's so many. I mean, there's an abundance. And I spent a lot of, like, my first year and a half, before I moved to Brooklyn, I was living in Harlem. I was living uptown.
There's a lot of men, period.
A lot of
in
men,
Brooklyn.
a lot of gay men in particular. I used to live around the corner from this club that no longer exists. It's called El Morocco. It was on the corner of 145th and Broadway.
Yeah.
And the mixture of black and Latino was very heavy. It's like, so it would be like, and I used to live near there, so you know, sometimes I didn't even have to leave my crib, because if I had the dating app, I could just open it up, and a guy's like half a mile away, 400 feet away. He's like, "Where are you at the club?" I'm like, "No, I'm in my crib. You want to leave and come over here? I ain't got to spend money, and I can drink in my own crib." And then
that gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
The one time I was on Tinder, I was at Zany's in Chicago at the condo they put you in around the corner from the club. I was single, so it was years ago.
Yeah.
And I got on Tinder, put my location. When I tell you, my phone almost exploded. Not because I'm so cute, which of course that's part of the reason. But they were like, "Where you at now? We can see you now. Where you at now?" I was like, "Nigga, I will fuck you, but not today."
You are not a gay man, Jackie.
No, I was like, "He cute. Let's grab a coffee. Come to the show." I was trying to flex, like, "Hey, I'm headlining.
Oh, I get
Come
it.
holler at your girl." And they were like, "That's too much activity."
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, I'm guys. I don't want." And I got off immediately.
Yeah.
I'm like, "God, women want to have sex too, but you can't."
Y'all have a different approach. Women have to have a different approach.
Yeah.
With dating apps.
Eagerness could be, I'll be in the news in that state in the morning. Like, hey, black female comedian slain because she was on Tinder for 3 hours. Jesus.
Yeah. I feel sorry. I was gonna tell you though. Yeah. In relation to the dating app stuff, when I was doing my bringer shows, you know, if you do a bringer show, you know, you only have but so many friends who's gonna keep coming to the show. When you got the same.
After about year 2, they're like, "You gotta hang of it now."
You got the same 7 minutes or whatever. So I used to get on like Grindr and like all these apps and like invite these guys to my show to fill up my quota to get my time in.
I know comics who use that as part of their marketing system. I know guys who got on dating websites and they were hardcore on it.
They got their website in it
and
the
for
profile.
shows.
Yeah.
And clearly, if the guy was attractive, women are gonna come out in droves. I'm like, why? And for women, we can't do that. When I get men coming to my shows by themselves and I'm by myself in that state, I think it's creepy as hell. I appreciate it, but it's creepy.
I have a similar thought with me too. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have like. First of all, I don't even think I have like a. I don't think the majority of people that follow my work are gay. I think a lot of them are like. Either straight people in general. I don't know what the makeup is.
If you're cute, then a lot of them have to be
A lot
gay.
of straight people follow. Yeah, and
if you're attractive, the gays love you.
But I'm not like a gay sex symbol. I'm not pulling into that group. I got a lot of straight people. When I go on the road, it's a lot of straight people.
My gay experience in terms of friends I've had, close friends, there is a market for the not gay looking, very straight looking dude.
You did this to me. You're like
there are gay dudes who they prefer you look like that, where they don't know
true.
Looking at you offhand. Oh, he's definitely.
That's
one
true.
Of them.
I mean, that was definitely me in my 20s. I was like, yeah,
When I see you in the cellar when you dressed up, I be having to remind myself. I be like, hey. First of all, you married. And second of all, he ain't straight. But you know, women who have taste, I think I have taste. We love a well-dressed dude.
I years ago I opened for Che at Caroline's, and when we were leaving, I was, you know, those steps that go all the way up from the bottom. He was walking upstairs, and there was a line of like 7 different women right behind him, sort of like a mother duck in her fucking. In her group. I was like, what the? I was like, I couldn't imagine me leaving Caroline's and having a bevy of men just sort of following behind me, waiting to see where I'm getting ready to go. It was crazy. I would feel like I was in danger a little bit, or I would really feel like I was that bitch. I don't know. I can't decide.
Unless all those dudes you brought or came for you knew each other. Then it could turn into hanging out after the show. But if they're just coming there not knowing that, well, who this nigga? Who this chick? But I'm like, so Che, either they all knew, and he's like, you know, knowing, depending on your celebrity, they're like, we don't give a damn who else is there. We want to go get free drinks and whatever happens afterwards. I don't know that life, and I'm too late for me now. I'd have been good at it though.
Yeah, and we're both in relationships, so you can't follow us out of the clubs, and you can't.
No,
you missed the chance to do that.
Telling security at the club, walk me to my car.
I love seeing y'all too.
Oh,
I love running into you, especially when you bring your husband, because he's actually like what I think. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go towards that when I get that age.
Just chill.
Chill.
Yeah.
He's out the way. He's like, what's up?
He loves watching from the cut.
I never. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh,
he's there. And he's dark, so you don't even know he's there.
But some people don't know. But some people don't know how to be when they go through that.
No, I know
because
he's naturally a very, very, very introverted man.
Yeah.
But he's fun.
He's cool. He's cool as hell.
Yeah, he's very cool. And he's naturally, niggas who are naturally sexy.
Yeah.
They don't want attention.
He got all but 2 sentences for me, and I appreciate it. I'm like, hey, man, I like.
And if he remembers who you are, that means that you cool. You know what I mean? Because he don't care about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of relationships, I want to ask you some questions. What time is it? We're going through this. I saw this today, and since we're both involved with somebody permanently, Lil Duval on his Instagram, and he was pointing out, Adina Howard. You remember her song?
Singer. Yeah.
Yes, A Freak in the Morning, That's Like Me. She posted a video that her marriage did not work because she, in fact, married for sex, and she wanted sex all the time, legitimately.
That's not shocking at all.
And her husband couldn't accommodate her, and because she wanted it in the morning and at night, and if you had time during the day,
Man.
And they divorced, but they ended up living together anyway because they love each other.
Aww.
So, like, and I thought it was odd that he found it weird or too much that she wanted it morning and night and during the day. And I'm not gonna lie, I've always wanted it morning and night and during the day, but you have to be with somebody permanently to get that kind of schedule.
Yeah.
Now that I have that schedule, is morning and night too much? And God willing, if you have time during the day?
I guess it depends on who you ask. I mean, here's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it seems normal, but do I do that? No.
That's the thing. I think,
but I don't think anything's
big difference.
If I had a problem, I guess if I had a partner who wanted it that often, there'd have to be some sort of like compromise of like,
you should know.
Well, maybe not the afternoon, but I would definitely morning time. Let's. You know why I don't do morning though? I don't really. I guess I would X out more because it's like
my favorite is the morning.
But you gotta brush it. Do you brush your teeth before?
No.
See, my boyfriend be trying to kiss me in the morning. I'm like,
that's because y'all are similar in height. My
I
husband's a foot taller than me, so I don't know where his mouth is half the time. When he's in me, I don't know where his head is.
I be very apprehensive to kiss in the morning before I brushed my teeth.
No,
I'm like, because I'd be afraid that we're kissing, and I'm like, you can taste whatever. But I guess that means, you gotta start brushing your teeth before you go to bed.
Force yourself to do it, and I feel like your body chemistry is meld in after a while. You don't smell it. I don't.
Okay.
We kiss all the time, and I don't smell or taste.
I get a little self-conscious about.
I'm
always self-conscious about
Make
my
a joke
breath.
about
I'm
it.
like, yeah.
When things like that seem weird and you think they shouldn't be, crack a joke.
Yeah.
That always helps break down. Even if you've been together
breaks the ice to start fucking again.
Yeah, exactly. Or he'll reveal that he has the same insecurity, and you'll reveal like, I didn't care. I thought you cared.
The afternoon. I guess if you guys live together, so the afternoon is tough. If you don't live together, if you're just like dating.
If you're dating, it's very hard. But
because
if you're
married,
working,
you don't live together sometimes.
I did complain to my husband recently, about a year ago. We were like had a tension. Things were like weird, and we weren't doing it often. And I told myself, I'm like, Jackie, you always tell yourself you're not gonna not tell a guy how you felt, because I remember my boyfriend prior, it didn't happen enough.
Right.
And I love sex. I love it more when I'm in love. So I told him, and he doesn't really acknowledge stuff, but he'll work on it. Like his actions, he ain't got no words. He's a very quiet guy, but he shows everything through his actions. So I noticed that it ramped up after I mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I realized I mentioned
sometimes that's all it takes.
I mentioned it with love too. I didn't mention it like, hey, just so you know, I didn't do it like that.
My boyfriend had to put me in check a few months ago.
How?
He just was like, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
When we first started dating, I was like I was at SNL still when we first started dating, and on top of that, I was like still doing stand up and like doing spots. So I have grown accustomed to just kind of moving around whenever, however I want, coming in and out, being gone, like by myself, doing my spots, running, doing my thing. So there would be times where he'd want to make plans, and I'd be like, oh, okay, well I gotta do the cellar like 8:30, and I gotta
prioritize the relationship.
And so, but I would sometimes leave it sort of open ended, whereas he was like, hey, can you like confirm with me that this is the time? Because if you're still hanging out at the cellar, I could have been hanging out with my friends instead. I'm waiting on you to like tell me if we're gonna hang or see each other tonight.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's
considerate.
It's starting, and it was beginning to remind me of a critique that an ex of mine from a few years ago, and then I ran into them at a bar, told me that he never said before, that even when we were breaking up, well, I did the breaking up and down, but before, he was like, oh, I kind of felt like everything had to be your way. And I was like, well, the time period he met me, it sort of had to be it was my way or the highway.
It was your world that you were trying to get a hold of your world.
And my world was slowly coming around. I was like, oh, okay, well.
And a partner complaining is you don't got time for that.
Nah, and there was a lot of that. And I was like, okay, well, no. But this relationship.
What's her name? Natasha Rothwell from Insecure?
Yeah.
We call that growth.
Growth, yeah. At that time, yeah. And it was like that partner, there was a lot of like, there was just a lot of early nagging. I'm like 3 months in, why are you crying? We not supposed to be crying right now.
Maybe he was really complaining because he saw himself with you long term.
I think so.
In his head, I got to nip this in the bud somehow now.
Yeah, but not I was not in the headspace there for that to take up my time.
In his defense and understanding clearly, laypersons don't really get the obsession we have with. I have a set. I got to do a set on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I need to put an hour together for this. I have an audition.
Mm-hmm.
Shit come out. They fall out the sky.
And at that time, he was definitely one of those people who was like, hey, I don't always want to have to come to your show. And I'm like, you don't have to come.
Please don't come to every show.
But then saying that, he would be like, he's saying that he would feel like, oh, you don't want me there. I'm like, no, that's not what I said. You've seen these jokes before. You've seen my friends. You've seen my friends' jokes before too, because we're doing it together.
I know,
and I get that. But then
there's no
don't show up to the show, and then when I'm like, "What you doing here?"
Oh, he rolls up, even though he said he wasn't coming.
Or like, I was like, "Yeah, you don't have." We already had this discussion, but then give me a hard time when the show's over. Like, I just feel like you didn't want me here. I'm like, all I said was, "What were you doing here?" Because you said you did not want to be. So I was like, that was. Oh, and don't even get me started. Don't even. Oh,
that was then though. Months ago.
That was years ago. Was years ago.
Okay.
So now he's great. Everybody.
You work through all that.
All my friends fall in love with him. I'm
nice.
Like, he's very easy to get along with. And I was gonna say to like his addressing me about like letting and confirming. You know, he told me something very like sweet that I would have never connected it to. He's an immigrant. He he moved here when he was 11.
Okay.
So there was a time period where he was unsure. Just unsure of a lot of things, and like safety and stuff like that. So I think it was kind of like bringing those feelings back of like uncertain feelings of like what's going on.
He wants to feel safe, secure, and a priority.
And I had to learn how to do that. This is the first time I've ever had to. Relationships really be.
It's a lot of fucking work.
Knocking on your head, like, hey, this is how you appear to this person.
It puts a mirror in front of you.
And I am 35.
Yeah.
And it's time to start doing things differently.
And sometimes you have to let them be angry because you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But they will inevitably still get an attitude watching you do what you have to do.
You know what's also tough?
What?
Being someone formerly of the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie, when I tell you, this relationship, the one prior and another one prior, those were like the last before those were attempts before this.
Yeah,
one.
You were just being happy and single.
But before I was Jackie, I was out here doing a lot.
Really?
Doing a lot and healthy. You know what I mean?
Okay, good.
I'll tell you, living here. My odd jobs were the oddest. I was doing I was wait staff. I was bartending, but I was also the first.
You were a cage dancer? Oh my God! I was joking. I have no fucking idea. I made that shit. I pulled it out of my asshole. Were you really a cage dancer?
I wasn't a cage dancer, but I was out of the cage.
Okay.
I was one of the go-go boys on the play. Yeah.
Where?
There was a bar.
Detroit. He's from Detroit.
Yeah, I came from Detroit.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. It used to be called Secret Lounge.
In New York?
It was in New York. It was in Chelsea. It was gay, hole in the wall gay.
It sounds
gay bar.
fantastic.
And I used to make a little money, kind of dancing and in a jock strap. But I can remember the exact moment where I was on the bar and I was like, my mama did not send me to New York to be doing this.
To be a dancer.
So that lasted that lasted for about 3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
But what's funny is that
probationary mostly 3 months. You did it and you were like, I'm done. My entrance
exam is what will you do for money to live here?
Because there's only one step after that, or two after that,
but
right?
What's crazy? Yeah, there's only a couple steps after that.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that I know a lot of those guys, and they're still doing it. Okay. They got the OnlyFans, whatever, and we're homies because we spent I spent some time with a lot of because you could dance from one bar to the other.
Okay.
So I probably did 2 other places in 3 months, but I was also a shot boy for a liquor brand. brand.
Okay.
And so
is there serious tips in that? That good?
Depending on how good you look to the guy who was doing the promotion.
Oh, okay.
So I did okay.
Okay. Do you ever go back to these places to party and hang out ever?
I've been to a couple of places. It's so funny, like, knowing that community of people and, like, working in the restaurant. People don't realize, even though, like, there are so many restaurants in New York City, like, the restaurant community, like the wait staff community and bar, you meet people and, like, you travel to and from. I worked in so many different restaurants in New York.
Really?
I was out here fucking, when I first started stand-up, I was like, I would quit a serving job because I found one at a better restaurant in a better part of town, like, that I would get more tips from. I was working at is it Fig and Olive downtown? And Donald Trump came to my table one time with, like, a bunch of. This was before.
I wanted you to be like, I was working at this gay bar,
no,
and then Donald Trump came in there. I'd been like, thank you, Jesus. Publish this immediately.
Imagine I was bending and snapping for Trump. But I'm gonna tell you though,
what?
He tipped well, and he caught me handsome. This is before he ran for president. I ain't listening. This is before he ran for president.
I mean, you are, but okay.
So when he came down,
DT.
When he came down, y'all got the same eyeballs. No, when he came down that escalator, I was like, well, who the fuck is this? This is not the man who was so sweet to me.
Yeah. Didn't expect this.
It gave me like a nice tip.
Okay.
But when I started finding work, so yeah, I just know a lot of, like, I go into these bars, like, I go to bars with my boyfriend or whatever, and he's like, how do you know that bartender? Oh, because, like,
a life before you.
A life before you. I was working at this restaurant with that person, and now they work here. Yeah, there's a former waiter from the cellar who works at, like, a gay bar in the Village, and, like, yeah, he hooks it up. That's the homie.
I would love to do a show or be on a gay bar show.
You don't do those?
None.
I'm shocked.
I was telling Jacob earlier, shout out to Jacob, the sound engineer / owns the whole block. Part of the reason I'm doing this podcast is that I can make some friends.
Get you some gay
and do some shit. I know a few gays, but y'all busy.
And they love black women. Are you kidding me?
I was about to say, I don't understand where my life is going.
Jackie, you should be on every Pride show in New York City.
I'm not on any.
You should be on the float.
Before you, I was hanging out with Mateo before Mateo took over theaters around the universe. And I don't know where the gays are.
Listen, gay shows still exist, and they love a black. They hate other gay comics.
Really?
They love. Oh, please.
You know when I was around a lot of gay men, primarily retail.
That makes sense.
I've worked every retail, Bloomingdale's, Saks Avenue, Barney's. I worked there, and that's when I had the gay world around me. I don't know where y'all at now. Y'all come out when it's time for the Pride Parade, but prior to that, I don't know where y'all be.
That's the only time
I see y'all like sprinkled here and there, or all in one area part of Manhattan. But really, I don't know where y'all be at.
Well, you know what it is? The age. I think age is also, like, the age of, like, gay scene in New York is spread.
What is it like now, the gay scene?
I feel like if you're in Greenwich Village or in this area of town, like, you're an affluent, you're gay of some sort of affluence.
But yeah.
But, like, a lot of the young, like, gay community, you know, they're, like, in Bushwick. It's a lot of, like, Hell's Kitchen is, like, it's sort of it remains that, like, young, like, we're all, like, young, twinkie, like, 21-year-old, I can drink finally. It's like, and I realized that I went into one of them bars not too long ago. I was like, oh, no.
What?
I'm the old nigga at the club. I got to get out of here. But I'm like, oh.
You don't realize
and that's the last thing you want to be.
Even when the music is good, because if music is good, I'll blend in.
Again, I know a lot of DJs and stuff like
You kind of over it. Like, you've done everything.
I've done everything, but, like, I still hang out, and then, like, you know, totally unaffected by what I used to be in the clubs and in the bars, kind of just, like, you know, making out with whoever. Now I'm, like, sitting down and, like, just like.
Oh, you're like, the music is loud.
I feel like a chaperone. Yeah, because all these, like, young Latino, young black boys, young white boys, just all in one room sweating and jumping. I'm like, oh, I know. I'm truly in the VIP. I'm with the DJ, and I'm in the DJ booth, kind of just, like, sitting back. This is my homie.
This is unsanitary. You watching this?
I'm like, y'all are acting crazy.
Isn't it
late? I'm breaking up fights between two young. I'm like, no, I ain't got no business fighting. Stop fighting. Yeah. Crazy. I literally did that one time. I was like, I made two boys stop fighting. They were like having it out in the bathroom, and I'm like. They were both like, I was like, but that's those moments where you're like, I am the old nigga at the club.
You know how often I've been in a club or a comedy club bathroom, and I'm the old bitch in the bathroom. Where women they're either crying or they're fixing their hair.
Yeah.
At the Hollywood Improv years ago, This girl had some sniffy thing in the bathroom, and I don't know what was going on. I had a cold or something, and they said it was herbal. It helped with my congestion, and I did it, whatever it was. I don't know what it was. And I went back to, I don't even know who I was with. I think I was with my husband. I'm not even sure. And I was just really giddy the rest of the night. I don't know what it was, but in the girls' bathroom, it goes down. You don't know what's going to happen.
It's the girls' bathroom. It's the gay boys' bathroom.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all happening.
What about you in marriage? How do you feel about that? Any interest in that?
I think so. I don't know. I go in and out of my feelings about marriage as often as I do about my feelings about like having kids and stuff.
I was about to ask.
Like
the whole family unit.
One week I want it. One week I'm like, do I need it? And I don't know, because I grew up for a long time not having marriage shown to me immediately in my house, and then in a blink of 14, 13 years old, then it became, there's about to be a man in the house, and there's about to be a husband and wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just me and my mom for like most of my life up until like high school. So when my mom finally got married in high school, my
example's over. You're like,
I kind of was like, I got uncles. I'm like, I don't, we don't, because
we don't need extra.
But my mama wanted to be married, and she was not.
Love,
and my stepfather is great, but like them first couple years, I was like,
who is this nigga in the kitchen?
Why is he?
I know.
Like I was very selfish with my mom, because I'm like, it was just us, and I'd already seen her in like a couple other like relationships before that didn't work out, So I'm like, well, by the time my stepdad showed up, I was like, here we go. But they were already friends. So, and he did work at he wasn't my teacher, but he was a teacher at my school.
Oh, okay. So he probably was a man of character. He was just hating.
I was hating. I was hating for sure. But yeah, so I saw two different lifestyles through my mom. Singlehood, and then I saw married life through the lens of the two of them.
Okay.
And so I don't know, I guess that kind of explains why I go in and out of it, because I remember people like to think of like single parent homes as like just horrible, and I'm
no
like,
food. Yeah,
I'm like, bro, we were chilling. We were straight up, like my mama had to make some sacrifices, of course. So we went through ups and downs, but like I never felt like anything was ever really wrong with the way I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like I would go like visit my cousins, spend a night over a cousin's house who had like 5 or 6 kids in the house, and I'm like, it is loud in here. Like in my house, it is not this loud. It is just me and my mom, and we barely even speak. My mom. I always said my mama was my first roommate. Like, but it could be bad though too, because like your mama's, y'all sharing a bathroom, and like your mama's panties is soaking in the sink that you brush your teeth in, and it's like, well, hold on now.
And as a man, and just as a man, you gotta get out of all that. You gotta get your own life going. You gotta get away from it so you can figure out your own shit.
Yeah.
What about as we close it out? What about the comedy business right now? Would you like to see change a little bit? Like, how is your career going? Are you happy where you are?
I'm actually, so like people really want like there to be like, it's funny, after SNL, I was so like, all right, what is getting ready to happen to me? And I kept looking, I was in my head, because I was a little sad.
Because you do have this resume, you might get offered and have chances to write again for all if the shows come back.
Right.
Are you open to that again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But like, I was watching, because like I was a little sad afterwards, but then I was like just kind of looking up different like interviews and that other people who like got let go there, like, well,
there's so many people from SNL who were there for exactly 3 years.
And Sarah Silverman, she was there 1 year, and she said something that, because I didn't have the words really, so I was like looking for the words through someone else.
Yeah.
And Sarah Silverman said, there was a period after SNL where I just kind of didn't feel like I was in show business anymore. But it not in like a dark way, but
because
sort of
you're
just
so
like
enveloped when you're in
that
SNL,
place, and they just send you back out into the
world.
So I've spent the last like few months kind of just like, I guess I'm back in the world.
I gotta take a nap now.
I'm
like
getting,
that kind of thing.
Jackie, I'm getting the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life. Like I didn't know it could be like this again. So I'm back out. I'm back out on the land. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And all y'all are working. Those who are former SNL, all y'all working.
And when I tell you, I think the day that I found out I wasn't going back, I went straight to the cellar. I was like, oh, okay. I can like, because you got one thing I tell people, I'm like, I got passed at the cellar the same summer that I got SNL. Wow. So I didn't get it. I was like 3 months.
You went from nothing to everything.
I got passed in like June of 2021. I found out I got SNL in September of that same year. And so I didn't even have enough time to really like, dig my feet into the cellar and like what, because I was really fucking hype about the cellar. I was like, holy shit, I didn't think it was gonna happen, much less that soon. And like it just, and when I got pulled away from the thing that I was so excited about, but then I got all of this excitement for this thing. So now I'm like, it kind of like back into my excitement mode of being at the cellar.
What could be next?
Right. What, and what's next is like I'm just there every night, which I'm like, that's what I really.
When you get buried and when you bury yourself in stand up, people who are really truly stand ups, the things that you want to happen, they kind of fall on you.
Yeah.
Like when I left LA and moved back to New York, many of the things I had on my vision board to accomplish TV related, they happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be Michael Che, and then it was Sam J, and then it was The Tonight Show, and then it was AGT.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happened when I came here because I made a change. And then so I realized that when you do make either the change happened voluntarily or it happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
It all could mean, okay, now I got space.
Yeah.
For everything
and
that happened.
And that's how I've been feeling. And like I just been writing so much more stand up. I mean, I've spent 3 years writing for everybody else and their mama.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you would go on breaks on SNL and be like, damn, sometimes I'd be like, do I have even 5 minutes?
Material?
I would forget my material sometimes just because I was so engulfed in that environment.
And when you're in stand up so much, how they say, a watch pot never boils.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ain't looking at the pot and you just working
at all,
the fire is burning
at all. And I'd be at work, I'd be in my office, and sometimes I'd like just look on the cellar stand up and something like, damn, I want to be down there so bad right now.
And know what I mean? My problem is that if or when I get a writing job, I will still be the annoying comic. Can I get out so I can go do a set?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, bitch, let the sets go.
Yo, you are here.
You here.
The goal really? Is here. It's like,
if I leave now, and they're like, no. That's done. That's the biggest worry I have.
It would make me so sad when I would have to like, if like a Thursday night is like, a Thursday night is like uncertainty.
You might
get to leave, you might not.
But don't bank on it.
And then like 7 o'clock will roll around and I would have a spot and I would be like, I gotta text Liz. They not letting me out. I can't make it.
Yeah, she always knows.
She always knows. She's like, what?
Right.
She see them dots showing up. She's like, okay, what? So now I'm so like, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. That has been the one place I'm like, oh, I'm back in like my stand up mode, and I'm up every night, and I'm like, this is the life that I wanted. Like, this is what I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to work in New York Sunday through Thursday and get my ass on the road. That's really what I've been chasing, and that's what I've had time to think about. I see you guys like throughout the week working on your stuff to get ready to go and take to some club in America or out of the country or whatever, and I'm like, that's what I've been. It seems like everything that I've been given from my stand up is like, I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for the opportunity and for the money that it's given me to be able to do stand up and not have to worry about getting a job. But just let me do stand up, please.
Like, I haven't met a comic like you in a long time.
Because I just became obsessed with it. Like every time, because like I said, the first years I was like, if I don't get good at this, if I'm not seeing a progress in any sort of way, and none of it was anything where I'm like knocking on people's doors like, hey, can I come do this? I would always just get sent emails or direct messages like, hey, I saw you on such and such show. Would you be interested in this? And I'm like, well, obviously there's something here. I'm not just I'm not being delusional entirely. Like,
I feel the same way about the cellar. Is a part of the reason, probably top 3 reasons why I moved back. Nothing bad happened. Nobody passed away. Thank you, God. It's because I wasn't getting better as a comic, in my opinion, in LA. I was doing the same clubs. I love all of you. Please keep booking me. But I felt like a repetition was I was getting stagnant. And I knew that when I moved back to New York and worked at the cellar more, it forces you to up your game. Because everybody on the show prior to you going up is annihilating. To the point where I've been in the back and have changed my set based on watching who's up before me.
Yes.
Because I'm like my little single girl shit or my little got married. Tracy Morgan was just on that stage. I followed John Mulaney work, and he annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to ride his wave, but
that happened to me with Rock one time. He pulled up, and I was like, well, okay, I guess that little new joke that I wrote this morning, that ain't gonna see the light of day today.
One time I was
we not doing that.
I went up one time between Chris Rock and Chappelle.
Come on.
At the View. And I left there. I was sweating. I was like, God, I know you want to challenge me. But Jesus, in the big room. And
God sends his toughest challenge to his strongest soldiers.
Clearly, but I'm like, I peed a little bit. I'm like, I need for you to give me one of them. The fuck? But he keeps you sharp.
It keeps you sharp.
Yeah. Doesn't make you rest on your laurels.
Please.
Before we get out of here, what's your opinion about the whole Diddy thing? Because recently, and I thought it was funny because this is an old story now, although it's going to be around for years. He made a request to go on house arrest on a private island.
He's made a lot of requests.
And the judge, I know the judge now, at this point, they got to be in the break room like, this nigga, look what he sent this time.
Right.
And they laughing over his request. You know what it is? He don't understand no. His level of money and power, that's like you having a teenager or a kid and you take away their iPad because they're wrong, and they're like, well, can I keep my phone?
Yeah.
You don't understand. And they give you a dirty example. That's like you being mad at your man. We ain't fucking. We are not fucking. You don't deserve it. Yeah. But then you blow him.
Yeah.
You don't understand? No? I'm going to try it tonight on stage. 2 new ones. So I'm going to try it. It been in my head in the house.
That's so funny.
You like them?
In reference to Diddy, yes,
absolutely. Yeah. Because he don't understand you are on punishment.
Huh.
You know?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm with you on those things. I don't know. I feel like
because you a New Yorker now, so you know the influence he is.
I only let New Yorkers. Real New Yorkers say that to me. People ask me, you call yourself a New Yorker? I don't do that. I let people from this city. I have too much respect. Because people love to throw New Yorker around.
Oh,
you know, they've been here 5 years. I'm like, you all right? You brave having that conversation with some people out here.
Like, in LA, they would tell me because I was there for a long time. Oh, you an LA girl? I'm like, hey, watch it.
I'll just say, I let people call me a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker at heart.
Yeah.
Detroiter.
Both tough.
Who made New York home. New York is home.
That means he ain't no bitch.
No. Not at all.
Not at all.
The Diddy, I mean, you know what is really, to your point, it's interesting to me that Diddy has always had access to being able to silence those that haven't.
That's why they won't let him out.
And that's why they want. He's a flight risk, and he's a risk to people because he has a alleged reputation of
paying to get what he wants.
Getting what he wants or getting people out of here, silencing people, threatening people with threats.
You know what my husband said? Remember when he allegedly was trying to leave? He was trying to go to some Caribbean island before all of this went down.
Bali, right? Like where Russell Simmons went.
I think so. And we're like, well, you had a chance to leave. Why you ain't go?
But I think they stopped him, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But he wasn't leaving like in a rush. He was like
taking his time.
Yeah, we're like you had a chance to go. We all watched you almost go. Why you ain't go?
What I find the most funny is like the post on Instagram. It's like the like all of his like music videos are wiped clean, all the bikinis, like the Carisha, all the vacation stuff, and it's all just like him being like a family man. It's all pictures of it, and it's like his kids are posting from his Instagram account, trying to like
his daughter. Is his daughter named Love? I think.
But here's the thing with that. I'm like, yes, public relations is still necessary, but I think people, especially on social media, are starting to see through even those attempts at like
anybody
you kissing your son and you going to her posting your daughters on their fucking prom or like whatever. It's like
anybody who seems extra family man or extra zen or
religious
or any of that. They're always somebody where you peel those layers back and you're like, he a this or that. He a pedophile or he a sex predator or whatever. It comes out years and years later.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather I did something where I was thinking about it. I'm like, CL Smooth was on Drink Champs, I think, and he was just so zen and so like kind of cleaned out the way hip hop used to be when it came to women.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then I want to hear old school like rap. I'd be like, look, you used to beat women. It was the 80s.
You're
like,
right.
I keep it real sometimes, but you got to put up a persona.
You know what I don't like?
What?
I don't love it when black shit bleeds into the white community. Like, I don't love that the white community knows who
Jaguar. Or do they go in there and grab it?
No, I don't love that Jaguar Wright is well known by white people now.
Oh my God!
That used to just be a thing that like, oh, look at Jaguar Wright, look at her. And now I literally heard like Whitney Cummings talking about it on a podcast, and I was like, oh no, white people have gotten into the.
I had a Caucasian.
It's our crazy shit.
I had a Caucasian girlfriend who during the Diddy hype texted me, "Do you think Jaguar Wright?" And I was like, "What?" And it bothered me. I mean, that bothered me enough.
You should not know who she is.
It doesn't bother me or didn't bother me where it was really an issue, but that little in my head like, oh, what? What's happening?
When very niche black shit leaves the well and kind of goes into the white space, I'm like, oh, no. It takes away the
power.
It takes away the power a little bit. And I'm like, oh, no. Like, I just hate it when our crazies get put out there.
Because
like when Ben Carson was like in the Trump administration, I was like, oh, no.
Because it's everything is clickbait. And if it's something because if you were to look at my Instagram page, you would know I'm a black woman, probably 80% of it. But there's 20 of random shit / mainstream / white.
When she showed up on Piers Morgan,
that kind of stuff. I got everything on my Instagram
when
page.
she showed up on Piers Morgan, I was Jaguar Wright.
Piers
Morgan had, he had to pull the interview down. You probably good luck finding it. He had to pull it because
she was making so many. I remember
she was talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Yeah, she was. And didn't they do something? Beyonce
she claims that they're doing stuff or have done stuff.
No, they did something to make all that get taken.
Oh yeah,
they
got that taken off the internet.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
So I just was like, oh yeah,
Piers Morgan.
I guess that's my big Diddy take. I hate that Jaguar Wright is in the white space now.
That's entertainment news nowadays. If they were to do they don't even try and put out any more entertainment news shows black-wise because they're all bleeding together.
Do you share the opinion that like those people who are coming out and like finally like his security guards and like bodyguards and stuff like that, people who were in the circle and saw this stuff happen in the casting and stuff like that, are you of the opinion that they deserve some sort of punishment for sticking around?
I think everybody who had any idea that anything was going on is culpable.
Yeah.
Maybe not criminally liable, but still culpable to some degree.
Yeah.
And the ones who were trying to make money off of it, my husband has a tendency to love these podcasts by black dudes who used to be Diddy's security's aunts, nieces, nephews, neighbor's cousin was the chef for Diddy's grandma. They got podcast upon podcast upon podcast.
And they all telling on themselves.
And my husband sits and watches all of this and then reports back to me like, well, I heard. I'm like, you did not hear. You heard Jerome in his studio apartment give you his conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if there's someone who's like, well, I worked for him for 10 years and I saw plenty of women get knocked out. Yes, nigga, you should be held liable to some degree. Probably not. But if you that's the law though. If you see something and if you saw something that you could have helped not happen, you may not be arrested for it, but you can still be like, I forgot the law. Wait, hold on. I have a law degree, so I feel.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Like an idiot. You can't put somebody in greater harm than the harm that they're in if you are involved in some sort of tussle.
Right.
But if you're witnessing it, maybe not criminally, but you civilly, you could be like, how'd you watch that shit? I don't know. I got to research it.
That makes sense.
So dry. But yeah, what do you have coming up lately that you want to coming up soon and you want to promote before we get out of here?
Okay. January 2nd through the 4th, I'm going to be at Chicago, Zanies in Chicago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Zany Chicago was awesome.
It's my first time doing it. I'm really excited. I played Chicago before, and I always have a good time there. But I'm really excited to like do my own thing.
Nice, very cool. Anything after that?
That's
the big one. That's New Year's, and
that's New Year's. Yeah,
it's a hard time to get people to come out during the holiday season because their money's gone.
Yeah, right. But spend your last little bit on me. I promise it will be worth it. Yeah.
You have a website? How people find you?
I got to get my GoDaddy account back, so it's not.
Now that you back as a true stand-up, you know you need a full website,
I need a full website, yeah.
To put all your reps and stuff on there.
I had one, but I think I let my GoDaddy account like expire. I think I got to buy it back or whatever.
Yes, you got to do that and hire people.
But I'm on Instagram and I post my Instagram. I post my flyers and my dates all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, people get scared of promoting themselves, not me. If I got a show, I will let you know every day that I got a show. Please come, because people love to be like, I didn't see it. There's no way you didn't see it, because I post every single day when I got a show.
You know what's sad and funny at the same time? I'm surprised there aren't more murders, because the way we all put our whereabouts,
we just say where we're gonna be.
Every human being be like, I'm gonna be. Look at this deli I'm at right now. I'm like, there should be so many more stabbings. Because we tell everybody where we're going to be at all
times of day.
But anyway, that's social media. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be at, because I apologize if you get the promotion of our shows after the fact.
Right.
But I promise you, I have people working on it to get it up. But this is Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. I'm going to be at the Vermont Comedy Club November 29th and 30th. That's coming up. And then after that, Comedy Fort Collins, Colorado. First time in Colorado. That is December 6th and 7th. If I'm wrong, go to JackieFabulous.com. I got a long-ass schedule. If you want to see me in your city, holla at your girl. Otherwise, Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. Thanks for watching. Wait, thanks for coming. Ain't nobody here. Thanks for watching. But just thanks for caring. Peace.
The outro was just as great as the intro.